What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the one-on-one series presented by Fandoms Anonymous, where we take the opportunity to let creators and thinkers and business people and those great minds come and tell us about certain things that we might want to do or we might not have the oomph or the confidence to do, and share with us their struggles and successes and how they've gotten to where they've gotten. So I got a special guest on the line tonight. I got my man Colin Bass. You guys probably don't know him by his first and last name. If you haven't known him by his first and last name, then you would know some of the great work that he's been doing out here with original fan film content creating with the great series called Reverse Flash Origins for your comic book people out there. And he has an amazing new series coming out. I'm going to let him talk to you all about it. And it's detailing one of my favorite iterations of my favorite franchise in fandom culture. Mr. Colin Bass, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. That was an epic intro. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and get right into it. How did you get started in everything that you do, from filmmaking to content creating to all of it? How did you get started?
Well, I grew up a nerd, of course, but in high school I kind of went down a different path. I went the jock, pep commissioner path, and this wasn't really me, but I kind of just decided that was who I was back then. And then in college, I got hired by a comic book company to do some writing. And then they were like, hey, we want to do some digital media. Like, what do you think about this? And I had done some acting back when I was a kid, but I really wanted to bring characters to life and do, film, even though I had no experience in it other than some theater. And so it was actually a blackout on September 26th, and ran into my old childhood friend Sean, who was doing film in college. And I was like, hey, man, what do you think about filming together? Let's do some superhero web series. And we met the next day and did our first video, and the rest is history.
And that's really how it all starts. It always starts with that one opportune moment where it's that divine appointment, that time where it's supposed to happen. We go through life in a lot of situations where we're like, I want this to happen, but it's not going to happen until it's actually supposed to. So how did it feel getting your first fan film? Because I know you've probably done many of the things before I even saw Reverse Flash Origins. What are some projects that you did before, and how did it feel getting that first project?
Oh, man. Well, I really think it's different once people start caring about what you're doing, because we were doing this web series called The Quest, and it was all original content, all original superheroes, but the views weren't there, but we just kept doing it because, one, we loved doing it, we had the passion for it, and we believed that if we got the right eyes on us, we could do something great. So once that first series ended, we branched into fan film, and that's when we did Young Justice Abduction, which I had the idea to do a Young Justice-based series after Young Justice got canceled on Cartoon Network back in, I think 2013 or so. And then that's when people were like, oh, these people aren't messing around. They cut the costumes, they're believing in themselves, they're growing, and then it just kind of turned into this snowball effect where we got confidence, we got more people to believe in us, and then we wanted to keep growing and keep evolving as much as we could. And then that led to a series called Bloodhaven. It was a Nightwing web series, which unfortunately never went anywhere. But then, because it never went anywhere, Nerdbot liked our style, and they were like, what series do you want to do? And I said, I think it'd be really cool if we did an Anakin Skywalker, Lex Luthor type thing, where Reverse Flash didn't start evil. He starts good, and unfortunately, the circumstances leads him to becoming evil. And then so that started Reverse Flash Origins, and we've done about 13, 14 shorts in between for our cosplay short series, but Reverse Flash Origins finishing was a huge accomplishment for sure.
And I followed it, man. I was geeking, but like I said, before I even knew your name or came across you making a post, I was every week scouring that Reverse Flash Origins Facebook page with new episodes.
Thank you, man.
Well, new episode is up. And just looking for it. And sharing, of course, sharing it with my friends, and especially what I do here at Fandoms Anonymous. Anytime I come across something geeky, nerdy, comic book, sci-fi, I'm going to share it. And a lot of people look for me sometimes to see what I'm talking about or what I'm looking at. I get inboxes like, hey, what are you watching right now? I'm like, well, right now I'm watching The Gifted. I've never heard of it. I say, it's X-Men based. They say it's better than the X-Men movies. Okay, great, I'm going to watch it. You know, so.
I love The Gifted.
Oh, man, it's beautiful. It's better than each and every last X-Men movie that they ever made. Because it sticks to a point. It gets gritty. It mentions the X-Men, and like I said, that's just my opinion. I don't know, what do you think about The Gifted?
Oh, I've enjoyed the ride so much, but season 2 is really like, I think season 2 in a lot of these superhero shows are where they go, okay, we learned what works and what doesn't work, and then this season 2 with the whole like split up between, I mean, I don't want to say Brotherhood and X-Men, but like,
right.
Those two different teams. I'm loving that because almost everyone on each team has some involvement in the other team, whether it's Polaris, Eclipse, or the brother and sister. And no, it's been really fun, and I love the fact that they don't hide from going, oh, what, like the X-Men, like as if it's some diss, you know?
Right. Like some 90s joke. Oh, you must be the Power Rangers, you know, something like that. But I say it's plenty of other shows. I know you're watching The Flash. What are some other sci-fi genre shows that you're watching right now?
Let's see. So I'm pretty like picky about the shows that I stay consistent with, but of course I watch Flash. I am a little bit behind on Arrow. I like Legends of Tomorrow. A random one, which still counts as sci-fi, is The Good Place on NBC. It's basically like, you know, what happens after you die? What if it's not heaven and hell? And it's really funny, but it's also gets thinking, and they go crazy because in their world it's not heaven and hell. So they can do time travel and saving lives and powers and stuff like that. But From there, I just kind of check in on a lot of different shows to see if they grabs me. But I love The Tick on Amazon. I had a great time watching that.
Right.
And I still check in on the Power Rangers seasons, but nothing's grabbed me for a few seasons.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big Power Rangers fan. I'm totally not glued into Ninja Steel, except for that anniversary episode. And I just went back to not watching it. Ninja Steel is just not doing it for me at all. It's just not. I'm sorry.
No, for sure. Nickelodeon taking over, it's just done. So, I don't know, like at least back when I was even too old to be watching Power Rangers, they would still appeal to me in either storytelling or acting or, you know, special effects or something. But these latest ones with Nickelodeon, ever since Samurai, I can't even fake it anymore unless they have someone come in that I want to see, like like all these crossovers and, you know, bringing old Rangers back. I will totally check that out, but I just haven't really got into it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I had no problems at all with Samurai. Megaforce, oh my God. That was a train wreck in itself. But Dino Charge was spectacular. I loved every last bit of Dino Charge. I did. I loved Dino Charge. It was really good.
Okay. I'm going to dive back into that then. I'm going to trust
you.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's good. And then Ninja Steel just came in. I was like, ugh. But then half of it really belongs to the Sentai footage. You know, you're only producing what you are getting to use to make the episode. But at the same time, you know, you can turn that around by, like you said, having compelling storylines, having, you know, good acting and good scripts and things of that nature to kind of overshadow, you know, the Sentai footage. You know, because some of the Sentai footage can get real goofy.
Yeah. No, take RPM, for example. Whoever that showrunner was, I think it was something Lin, they took the Sentai footage, threw the script out the window, and they're like, okay, we're post-apocalyptic now, and this Sentai footage will make sense because of what I do when they're not in their Ranger form. Even in space is like that. It was never even supposed to be in space. So there's potential there where you can go, okay, I don't have to be a carbon copy of the Sentai footage. I can write something and create something that's special. And both Space and RPM are fan favorites for real. But I feel like Nickelodeon's playing it super safe with these Sentai footage and being like, okay, we'll just do exactly what they said in in Japan, and then we'll save a bunch of money, and then kids will dig it. But what about us? What about us older fans, you know?
Exactly. Speaking of Power Rangers, guys, if you haven't already, I have a plethora of interviews and videos about Power Rangers on the Fandoms Anonymous YouTube channel. It's in the playlist titled Power Rangers. Check out my interview with a couple of the Rangers, including my great interview with Jason David Frank, a.k.a. Tommy. I have an interview with Karen Ashley, some of the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers as well. So check those videos out. And that brings, before we go into my next point, I want to ask you, what advice would you give to that young person or older person who wants to get into filmmaking, who wants to get into this industry that you're in?
I have three things. I love this question. I get it a lot, and I have three main points that I always try to drive in that I wish someone would have told me when I first started this thing. Number one, always have a passionate team or crew or cast or whatever that believe in your vision and really want to be there. Because if you don't have someone that shares your vision, it feels like they're doing a favor for you, and it never ends up good for anyone. You know what I mean? And I've been on both sides of that. That's my number one. Two is don't be afraid to not release something. If you get out there and you film something and it's not to a quality that you want to release, just watch it back, almost like a football, quarterback. Watch his plays and sees what he needs to change or what needs to be done different. So go out there and film, and don't feel forced to post it. You can learn so much from watching yourself. And number three, and this one is like my favorite one that I still use to this day, is always have a backup plan. Because in the world of fan films and, there's no budget, there's no studio or anything, things rarely go according to plan. So if you have a backup plan and you have something that you can fall back on, even if your main script is 100% finished, always have a backup plan so that you can fall back and still be able to finish the product. And those are my main three things. But most importantly, and this isn't even on it, it's kind of a part of two, it's just get out there and do it. Phones today can film in 4K. So just get out there and film something, and you'll feel good for being creative. That's my main point.
Exactly. Now, speaking of Power Rangers, my favorite season of Power Rangers is Power Rangers Ninja Storm.
Oh,
it is the most grounded, great storyline that I have ever watched in the Power Rangers fandom. I can say that I have gone back and watched Ninja Storm from beginning to end at least 3 to 5 times since, everything just dropped on Netflix and, you just search and there it is. It's just that season for me.
I love it.
It's my top season. The Mighty Morphin, they're vaulted. Of course, they're always going to sit up at the top. But it's all about what happened after that. For me, it's Ninja Storm. So when I saw you in that red Ninja Storm outfit, I said, oh, Reverse Slash Origins was good. He about to mess with my favorite property, and we definitely about to have a good time. Tell me what made you want to do something on Ninja Storm, and tell everybody the title and the name and what you plan on doing. Of course, don't give us the secrets, but what's the background of you wanting to delve into Ninja Storm?
Well, it's actually a really, I think, a sweet story. So I've been into the DC fan film game for about 5 years now, and a friend of mine, Kevin, the director, who does lots of Power Rangers stuff, he invited me to Power Rangers Morphicon up in Anaheim, which is about an hour north from my house. And I went up there on a whim. Don't get me wrong, I've loved Power Rangers my whole life, but I think I just kind of, they lost me after Samurai, to be honest. But I still check in every season, don't get me wrong. But I go to Morphicon, and I go to the fan film competition, and I cannot tell you how nice everyone was. They knew what I did. I was wearing my Reverse Slash Origin shirt, and a lot of the fan film people, you just kind of are aware of each other. Granted, they didn't talk to me, but online. But then they came up to me like, "Hey, you do the Reverse Slash?" And I'm like, "Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching." And they're like, "When are you going to do a Power Rangers one?" I was like, "I don't know. It's just not really my style." And after group after group, I got that same question. We watched your series. When are you going to do a Power Rangers thing? And then I'm in this hotel room with a bunch of Power Rangers fans. Some people were even suited up. They're friends from online, you know. And I go, wait, I just had an idea. And they're like, what? And I was like, what if I do a prequel to a season before they become Power Rangers? They're like, what do you mean? And I was like, Ninja Storm, my top 2 for sure. Dino Thunder is my number 1, but Ninja Storm is my number 2.
Definitely can't disagree with Dino Thunder. It's that era of Power Rangers, and this is what people fail to realize, and it bothers me. Like, certain things in fandom become so toxic so quick. Every time Disney gets mentioned that they're working on something, they're just gonna make it cartoony. No, shut up. Like, this is the same company that made a movie that was for kids called Up, that in the first 5 minutes, this guy married this girl, married to the girl, had a baby, the baby dies, and she dies. So don't tell me anything about Disney is just going to kid it up or cartoon it up.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's kind of my idea. Is like, I'd want to do a Power Rangers thing that didn't necessarily have the spandex and the rubber monsters. Like, granted, I love it, but I wanted to do something different. Just like Reverse Flash Origins, I wanted to tell a story that hadn't been told yet. So I'm in this group of huge diehard fans that traveled like across the country to be there for MorphCon. And I go, and I had a couple of mimosas. I was feeling pretty confident. And I go, who started the Ninja or the Wind Ranger Academy? We don't know. We know Sensei, we know the dude that started the Thunder, and we know, like, the past with the samurai time travel storyline. But who was the first ninja that turned into a ranger, you know, like all these things? What if I told the story of the first ninja ranger? Like, that was my whole thing is, what if we focus on the ninjas and the elements and then end up in the Power Rangers, and then that's why these morphers got passed down. Then I was like, wait, first ninjas we ever saw were the Alien Rangers when they took over from Mighty Morphin. What if that's where the morphers came from? Was the Alien Rangers crashing down on Earth for some last-minute hope to get these Power Rangers, these elemental Power Rangers, to be able to morph and, you know, save Earth? So I'm spitting this all. I'm thinking about it while I'm talking to all these people. And then it was like a movie, dude. Everyone was just like, yeah, I would watch that. Yeah, I want to see that. And then everything from there, it was just all I could think about. RFO wasn't even done yet, but I just started thinking, like, okay, I need this costume, I need this actor. And then sure enough, a couple months later, we have a filming date, we have some costumes, we have all the morphers, and I just have this vision that's going to become a prequel to Ninja Storm.
And I'm glad you brought that up about the Alien Rangers, because when you really sit back and think about it, it goes back to the point you made a little earlier about how they can take the Sentai footage and flip it around. We're being told that these are aliens from Aquatar, but then when you go watch Sentai, these are supposed to be freaking ninjas. Yeah. You know, that proves your point even more about, you know, how you can take a season and really flip it around with good writing and storytelling. But Power Morphicon is something that's on my bucket list. Like, I'm already planning to try to go 2020. It's I want to go to that before I go to San Diego Comic-Con. That's how serious it is. I was lucky. I was real lucky to get a Power Morphicon exclusive black and gold Funko Pop. But that's one thing that's on my bucket list. So it's awesome to hear how the Ranger fan community always and still comes together and basically help spawn this idea that you had. Now, what's a day in filming like for you? Is it grueling? Is it like, okay, well, we're going to do this, and we're done for the day?
No, I mean, the days really vary because, you know, from my experience, in even our shorts or even like the series, I'm in a lot of scenes, so each day is pretty gnarly, especially in these pleather suits. But it starts out, you basically wake up, you do rehearsals in normal clothes, and then everyone for that day is there. And then you suit up, do rehearsals again, and we go to the spots that we've already scouted for locations. And then it's a lot of filming, it's a lot of takes, and I mean, it's so rewarding to have it all done. But with RFO, it was kind of nonstop for me. It's just about like if it wasn't, filming once a month and then pickup shots, it was, voiceovers or different ADR. But for Power Rangers, we've done 2 little videos so far just to kind of like get our beaks wet, so to speak. We did just the ninja rip where, you throw your clothes off and you're in your ninja suit. Another one where we tested the air effects. And that was really easy. It was really fun. And just being a grown-up Power Ranger nerd is so much fun being power of air and, having the background behind me. But it really varies depending on who's available, what scenes we're doing, and what props we have. I'm always in some very hot suit. But this in November 9th, 10th, and 11th, we're going up to Big Bear to film. And we have, like, an actual fight coordinator and, like, choreographer. So I'm really excited for that. I think that'll be the most grueling fight scene we've done so far.
Most definitely. What's in your geek collection?
Okay, so I have a rule. Any character that I've played in a live action video or gotten hired to play or something, I always buy one like collectible to like kind of be my memory of that character. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of a ritual. When I play a character and I get a gig or like a video gig or something, I'll get a either action figure or Lego or something like that. So basically, of all the characters I've ever played, I always get kind of the high-end collectible action figures. So those are like my prized possessions, because when I'm an old man, I'm going to be able to hold these like, I once played this character in a YouTube video, So that's my favorite. But lately, I got my first ever Power Ranger helmet, the Ninja Storm Red Ranger helmet, and that is my new favorite for sure.
I have a friend of mine lives here in Alabama. You got to know him from Alabama. His name is Mike. I got plenty of videos of him on my channel. He's an older guy, retired Air Force, and he does 3D customs. He started playing around with the 3D printer.
Wow.
And he's always at home. He's retired military, disabled. So he's at home all the time with 3D printers basically running 24/7, and his business really took off, and he shipped stuff all the way to Scotland and Australia and all types of, basically he's stuck with Star Wars, and he has a massive Star Wars collection, guys. So check out my video on the channel titled Star Wars Collection. You'll be able to see his massive collection throughout his entire house. And he's working right now on a Green Ranger helmet for me, 3D printed. So I can't wait till it's finished. I cannot wait till it's finished.
Is that your favorite Ranger, Tommy?
Yes,
Ranger?
Tommy. That's my guy. That's my guy.
So
I'm literally walking around with it.
It's been really fun.
I'm literally walking around right now. It's starting to get cold in Alabama, so I got my long sleeve shirts out. I got my Angel Grove High School Tommy shirt on.
Nice.
Meeting him was just, it was epic. It was
He's
epic.
So nice. He's so good.
It was one of those things where I watched too much TV and movies, and it just happened. We were at Pensacon, which is a big comic convention down here in Florida, right at the tip of Alabama, and we went to his Q&A panel. We left out, came out the front, and I was with my friend. I said, okay, I know what's about to happen. Everything just slowed down. I said, okay, you see this door right here? I said, you see these big black SUVs that just pulled up with Pensacon logos and the windows are blacked out? I said, he's going to come out of that door, and he's going to get in that car. And right in that side area was like some iron benches, black iron benches. I said, we're going to sit on those benches, and we're just going to act cool. We're going to act calm. When he comes out, we're going to ask him for a picture. I lie to you not, about 3.5 minutes later, he walks out that side door. And I was like, hey, can I get a picture? He was like, hey, man, come on, let's take a picture. And my friend was getting ready. He said, my friend was getting ready to take a picture, and the publicist lady was like, no, we got to go. He was like, no, hold on, it's just a picture. It's going to take a few seconds. He's good. Nice. I was like, see, this is why he's that guy. This is why he's that guy.
Stranger.
Right, and the way I got the interview with him was literally, it was like we were talking about earlier, one of those divine situations. I posted a video on Instagram on my Instagram page when I got back home. I was like, man, it was so awesome. I got to meet the Green Ranger. I hope one day I can do an interview with him on his channel. 3 or 4 days later, I'm at work. At that time, I worked in the call center, and my phone was just blowing up. I'm like, people know that I am not supposed to be on my phone at a call center, even though I do it anyway, because everybody knows if you work at a call center, you're going to be on your phone. So checking the messages, people just, hey, man, check Instagram. Man, people, my phone is going from text messages to phone calls to Instagram bleeps to Facebook rings. It's just buzzing. My pocket is like literally on fire. I finally go to Instagram. He's taken my video, reshared it on his page, and said, "Of course, I'll do an interview with you." Tagged Frances, the young lady that does all his publicist stuff, and some other people said, "Get his information. Let's do it." And I'm like, what? and that's how it happened. And about a week or so later, we did the interview, just like we're doing now. And I was just sitting in my living room, like, I'm really sitting in my living room talking to Tommy on the phone, and we're interviewing right now. And what was supposed to be a short interview, like they said, the publicist lady was like, making sure I said, hey, I've had 6 questions written down for like the last week and a half, as he first said. And what I started out with was something that he doesn't get asked all the time. He's always talking about his faith and how he really believes in his faith. And the first question I asked him, I said, how does your faith prepare your everyday life? And what I thought was going to be a short interview turned into a 40-minute expose. And I'm like, okay, this is it. We've made it. We've made it. So it's an awesome experience. Just the range of fandom, being a part of that in itself is a great experience. But my geek collection is Funko Pops. I have about 157 Funko Pops.
Whoa.
It's continuing to grow. It's continuing to grow. But what are some ideals that you had when you first started that you see have changed now that you've gotten a little bit further in your career?
You know, when I first did it, when I was first, like, getting into filming and, you know, like this whole nerd thing, it was just kind of like accepting who I was, because I kind of fought it for so long. And this is like something I don't talk about very often, but I was kind of like denying who I really was, you know, through high school and college. And then as things have progressed, and, you know, I'm developing this small voice into this community that I love. I'm trying my best to say, you know, be positive, be creative. There's so many people in this world that are so eager to hate, and that's one of my least favorite things about our community, is because I feel like everyone is just so ready to, you know, say, I don't like this or I hate that. And with my little voice that I do have, I'm like, okay, promote the things you love, stop bashing the things you hate. And that's been my thing, is because when I first started, I didn't think I would even have a voice. It was more along the lines of like kind of self-acceptance. And then now where, you know, I'm doing something that people care about and they're watching and they're listening, if I can impact one person to get out there and be creative, or one person to stay positive instead of negative, that's like the world to me, you know? And I guess that's how I've changed. It was more about myself when I first started, and now it's more about changing the game in the perspective of good and bad and hate and love and how other people think. So it went from a kind of a selfish thing to now I'm just really trying to spread more positivity and more creativity.
And I can definitely agree with you on that. I have little small mini arguments / discussions on posts all day long that I catch where somebody says, like before the Venom movie came out, post in one of these groups I belong to, a guy was like, yeah, I'm not going to go watch Venom because it sucks. I was like, oh, did you get a special screening? Did you go see it earlier? Nah, I just saw the trailers and it sucked. So what that does is there are going to be hundreds of people that see that post. So they're going to affiliate in their mind, you know what, that guy said it sucks, so I'm not going to go see it. And you lose that. One of my biggest things that I like to promote on my channel is creativity and facts. I will not post a video unless I have facts on something. Because there are so many clickbait articles, and your biggest non-fact articles are coming from the major people like, honestly, comicbook.com and all of these other groups and pages. They're posting these articles just to get people to click on them, and they're creating this world of people not developing their own opinion about movies, television shows, actors, people, whatever, what have you. So when I see stuff like that, I call it out. I'm like, you haven't seen the movie. Stop spreading the negativity about the fandom, because what's going to happen is, if this negativity type of stuff gets spread out so much, executives who really don't know about movies and things of that nature are going to say, well, social media, because now social media is the rule all the end all. If something said on social media, it's got to be true. So, you know, they're going to say, well, we're not going to invest movie franchise in this new superhero character, new original character, because social media says original characters are trash. Right. You know, that type of stuff is starting to spread, and it really bothers me, because you start to see people start to lose their own identity and their own opinions because of what one person said who hasn't that hasn't done what you've done, that hasn't done what I've done, other creators and writers and people of that nature. Like, you have to go see a movie for yourself. You have to go watch that TV show for yourself. You know, I've gotten people where they've inboxed me after I've commented back and forth with somebody to dispute the negativity, like, hey, do you really think Venom's going to be good? I said, honestly, I haven't seen it yet, but go see it for yourself.
No,
you know,
sure.
like I said, I get a lot of people that inbox me when something comes out. Hey, that trailer came out. What did you think about it? And I have to always stay on a level playing field, because people, now that I've grown as a channel, people are looking at me to see what I think about it, to develop their own things. But I always put a disclaimer. I may not think it looks too good, but you go see it for yourself, and then come back and tell me I might change my mind. So we have to, like you said, we have to promote that positivity, or it's going to grow to a point where, like I said, you know, executives take polls of social media. You know, you can go on a computer algorithm now and look up Venom, type in Venom, and probably type in another word and see what people are talking about it. I enjoyed Venom. Sure. I thought Venom was great.
Yeah, I had fun,
you know. From a filmmaking perspective, I can understand why the critics didn't like it, because it did jump around a little bit and got a little confusing at certain points. But from the comic book perspective and the acting of Tom Hardy and some of the other people, I thoroughly enjoyed Venom. What did you think about it?
I think all these people are a little spoiled with you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you know, a lot of good movies are coming out. But I think you and I remember when we were just happy to get a superhero movie. You know,
correct.
That's how I feel. I go into these movies, and a lot of people want this comic book accuracy. And I think if you go in like that, you're going to be disappointed, because if you get comic book accuracy, it's going to be super cheesy, and it won't be fun. And I went to Venom. I have Movie Pass, so it's, you know, basically free. I went in with a beer and no expectations, and I had fun. And, like, I don't think people, I mean, not the majority of people go, okay, I want this movie to blow. I want this movie to be like the next Winter Soldier or Civil War or, you know, Infinity War. But if you go in just kind of like looking to have a good time for 2 hours and watch a movie like we used to when we were like teens and kids, you won't be disappointed. I went and saw Predator, and I had no expectations, and it was not anything that's going to change my life, but I had fun. Like, why can't you just go to the movie and turn your brain off for a little bit, escape from the real world, and just have fun watching a movie? And everyone thinks that they are a movie critic or like a TV critic, or that they know best and their opinion is fact. And I think that's the worst part with the nerd fandom right now, is all these people, they go, like, when it's literally, like, let's say this, I didn't like season 4 of The Flash. I just didn't like it. But a lot of people in the Flash fandom go, no, this is fact. Season 4 sucks. But it's not fact. It's your opinion.
It's not.
And so on Reverse Flash Origins, I cannot tell you how much hate we got when people are saying, fact, this sucks, or fact, this is cringe, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, we have 100,000 people who do like it. So obviously what you're saying is not fact. And I think that's spreading like a poison throughout all these nerds that used to just be so happy to get a new TV show or a new movie or, a new Power Rangers season. And everyone's so ready to hate. And that's what needs to change. And so Venom, everyone was so eager to be like, yeah, Venom sucks. Why not just go in with an open mind and try to stay positive and not spread the hate that is taking over what used to be a very positive and loving fandom, like fandom as in like nerds in general. And I came up with this like kind of a joke saying where, remember in Dark Knight where Harvey is like, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Mine is you either die a nerd or live long enough to see yourself become a bully, because I feel like all these nerds are becoming super aggressive and bullied.
Oh, yeah.
I got like, like it's like Reverse Flash Origins, right? We're 6 episodes in. We've got a good fan base, and we're growing, and we're learning, and I love it. And, like, I've learned a lot about myself and filmmaking in general. And I get messages about how I should just stop and, like, kill myself. And I'm all, you are exactly what's wrong with our whole nerd fandom.
Yeah.
So that's why I was so excited about the Power Rangers fandom. And everyone's been so nice, even with our 2 little teasers that came out. So whatever is going on with the Power Rangers fandom, maybe because they're 90s kids like me, there's just so much positivity, and I love it.
And that goes into what I try to do, like I said, on a daily basis. I just dislike people who spread that toxicness, you know. And it's like, give people a chance to see what they want to see for themselves, so that they can watch what they want to watch for themselves. Now, you said something about the Flash Season 4. I like the Flash Season 4. Now, I can understand that it was really drawn out. It was drawn out. But I like the fact that it was a season where they had to think, to throw that pun out there, not use speed to solve everything. That's literally the lesson that he had to learn. So, but what was your thing that made you, not too much care for Season 4?
Honestly, it was the inconsistency with his speed. I went back and watched, Seasons 1 and 2, even 3 a little bit, but, like, there'd be reasons why he didn't just, speed up and solve the problem. But, like this is a perfect example. So, like, in Season 1 or 2, someone shoots at him, and he feels the bullet on his neck. And then he, like, stops time and, pulls the bullet away and then realizes what's going on and, solves the problem. Season 4, he was getting smacked by these inanimate caveman objects or, punched by a T-Rex and, couldn't even, like, or he'd trip on marbles. Like, all these things, the inconsistency alone just drove me nuts. Like, and you have to imagine, I was writing Reverse Flash Origins at the time, so I had to stay consistent with how fast everyone was and why didn't they just do this, So that was my main thing. I love Candace, but Iris was a big problem for me, and just the fact that,
she
like,
can get a little aggravated sometimes.
But Thinker in episode 1 seemed like he had this big elaborate plan, right? He's like, everything's going according to plan, and then by the end of it, you're like, hold on, you switched like 6 bodies, your plan is not going according to plan, and you're some brilliant dude, but nothing has ever paid off for your, calculations from 20 episodes ago. So that was my main problem. But that's just me, because I feel like I'm a little different just because I've written from what I have to work with a 0 budget, and I don't know, it just was like very frustrating to watch for me.
Definitely understand.
And I hated the finale where it was like he was fighting all the clones and stuff, and Ralph became his cape and everything. It was just weird.
It got a little off. The Flash can get a little wonky sometimes. It really can. But nothing ticks me off more than that final episode of the last season of Legend of Tomorrow. That episode ticked me off so bad.
God,
it made me so mad because you built up this whole African culture situation going on, and then we're coming off the cusp of Black Panther, and it was like, okay, so you got these spirit totem, these people that are, we're seeing the spirits of these people who were the original totem bearers, and I'm like, oh, we're about to go down, like they're about to fight, and then you turn into a massive Bebo, and you built up Marlix to be this, what I call, amazing villain. You've had a great season bringing Damien Dark back and introducing his daughter and going back into what happened to them way back when the whole undertaking, well, not the undertaking, that was Malcolm Merlin. I forgot what his whole thing was called when he was trying to take over everything. But you would get some backstory on that, and then you end it with Bebo. You end it with Bebo slamming Marlix into the ground and killing him. Yeah.
And I think that, trust me, I get it. And I really enjoyed Kid Flash joining and Steel becoming his own hero and all these different things. But I think at that time, Legends was like, okay, we are officially a comedy. And then they just went like way too overboard with it.
They did. Last question I got for you is, what do you think about the word consistent?
Consistency. It's funny, we at this last Comic-Con, my business partner and best friend Sean and I got invited to kind of these like more bigwig YouTuber like influencers things, and they're all doing things, but they're like doing what we do on the side professionally, and it's it's very inspirational. But the nicest thing they had to say about us was that we were consistent with getting content out, and I think that's, granted, it's not the best content, but we're learning every time we do it. And so consistency to me is just like, the word consistency alone is something that's hard to really portray. But the one compliment we got from people that we look up to and that we want to do what they're doing full time was like, hey, you guys are consistent. You're getting content out there and you're learning every time. It was, it was kind of a, bittersweet compliment, but it was a compliment nonetheless. So I think consistency is great as long as you're learning each time you're consistent, and that is the best answer I can give.
And I definitely agree with you. Looking at where I've come from, my channel has been active since December 2016, and I originally came from a previous group that I had founded and had some differences, and I just had to separate myself and take a break, and Fandoms Anonymous came to me right before the new year, and I was like, okay, I'm about to do this, and this is what I'm going to do, because now I can do things my way, I can do things the right way, and really grow something. So within a year, I've hit 1,000 subscribers and did over 1,000 videos, and I stayed consistent. People were able to see what I was doing come to fruition and traveling to different comic conventions. I went to 8 comic conventions this year alone. 8, total of 8, just down here in this area, where we live here in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, and even I went to one in New Orleans. It was literally during me and my wife's anniversary trip. I was like, okay, honey, look, okay, there's a comic convention, and I emailed the people and I said, ask, could I have some passes? They checked my stuff out. I was like, sure, come on in. I was like, we're only going to be there for 2 hours tops. And then we can continue. She's like, okay, come on. I was like, thanks. So, the grind was real this year, and I'm already, we're already creating our list for where we're going to go for 2019. First stop is going to be New Orleans and Wizard World. So we're moving and we're grooving. So consistency is really important if you're going to be in something like this. It really, really is. Do you have anything else that you want to leave for the people?
Well, I got to say that you're an awesome guy. I've loved talking to you. That's one thing I will start with.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, other than that, if I could leave the listeners with anything, is just save our fandom. Be positive. Support what you love, and don't bash what you hate. And if you hate it, just, I don't know, keep scrolling. That's what I would say. And
right.
Also, I'll plug myself real quick. You can follow everything that I do at Colin the Blur on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. And we also have a Ninja Turtle series coming out where I play Casey Jones, which I thought you might dig, Malcolm. So, yeah, us nerds, we got to stick together, especially the non-toxic ones. So, and it's been great talking to you, man.
Awesome. Well, you beat me to my ex. That was going to be my next name. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Sorry.
and tell everybody the name of the YouTube channel as well, so they can. I like people to have accurate information.
Yeah, okay, so you'll find Reverse Flash Origins on Nerdbot Studios on YouTube, and then all of our side cosplay shorts, we've got 13 of them, all different characters. That's Crimson Vision Studios. And then you'll find Power Rangers First Ninja on We the Geeks of East LA. We're teaming up with some previously established Power Rangers fan film people because they have the audience. So that's where you'll find our stuff.
I'm glad you said that again, because that brought up a point I was going to say earlier. Like you were talking about the people at that YouTube function were telling you, you know, you guys are staying consistent. You don't know how many people out there who love fan films will follow pages to see updates and then to be disappointed because there are no updates and the movie's not going to happen like that one Power Rangers fan film that everybody knows. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm not going to name any specific. I know you know what I'm talking about as well. That one that everybody was looking for with this amazing trailer and this Lord Zed voiceover with Robert Axelrod himself. And, you know, it just didn't come to fruition. And a lot of people were mad about that. So in the film community, you are really doing everybody justice by staying consistent and by putting out new episodes. Because some of these, and I hope they get it together and whatever it is, the funding, I pray that they all get it together. But it can be, if you're not going to put something out, don't tell me something's coming. That's the biggest thing. That's why with my content, with my work schedule, it's got a little sporadic lately. So if I'm doing content, that means I'm actually doing content, and you're going to know I'm doing it if I make a post about it. I'm not going to say, hey, new episode coming up, and 2 weeks later I still hadn't posted a new video. So that's the main thing. If you're going to say you're going to do something in this nerd community, that your word is your bond in this type of genre, because people are going to be like, oh, you said you're going to put a new episode, Reverse Flash out. It's been 6 months. Where is it?
Yeah.
But I definitely commend you guys on that. You guys stayed consistent. When you made new posts, you put out new little trailers and everything, so we knew what was going on in the process. So definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. But guys, know we can. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you for saying that, because we do them because we want to keep you guys updated. So it means a lot.
Most definitely. Guys, you can find us. We're FANDOMSANONYMOUS. We're all over social media. Right here on YouTube, where you can watch this here video. We're also on Facebook. Go to the Fandoms Anonymous Facebook page and join the Fandoms Anonymous group, where we have discussions like this each and every single day. And follow us at Fandoms_Anonymous17 on Instagram as well. Colin, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you guys in another video.
Check it, it's Fandoms Anonymous in the spot. Gonna let you know what's poppin', let you know what's hot about all the different cons, movies, and TV shows, Funko Pops, games, and more. Whoa, so here we go. From Marvel to DC, Transformers like Bumblebee, we got all your fandom needs. So sit back and relax and enjoy the views. Leave a like and subscribe, check in on Facebook to stay tuned.